Hello and welcome. My name's Sam and this is the Little Greenhouse Creates. Thank you for joining me today. We are on our final card for this lovely stamp set of the week. No, long time no see. And we've gone for a funky fold. So here we go. So it closes like that. And then when it opens, you've got an elongated sausage dog. So quite a cute card really to end on. So let me bring in the supplies and we can begin. So I have got a piece of Secret C. Yes, Secret C. This measures 11 inches by 4 inches. I have Designer Series paper. Now this is the Florals Designer Series paper. I'm just trying to remember what it's called. Bear with me. And yes, it is the Florals in Bloom Designer Series paper. And I've got 3 pieces of that. So this piece is 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. Let me just double check that. Yes, no, it's 2 1/2. 2 1/2 by 3 3/4. So that's 2 1/2 by 3 3/4 twice. And then I've got 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. So that's 5 1/4 by 3 3/4 and 2 1/2 by 3 3/4 twice. Then I have a piece of white cardstock which measures 3 1/2 by 9 1/2, and this is what we're going to do all our artwork on. So, oops, she says, dropping it on the floor. Bear with me. It's just been one of those days. Everything I've touched has either gone disastrously wrong or just fallen apart. So, fingers crossed. Anyway, back to this. So we've got this piece of paper. I've moved my paper up so that you can see the border. Hopefully you can see the border down here. And I'm going to pop my card in the bottom left-hand corner here. Let's move that along a bit so you can actually see what I'm talking about. There we go. So it's down here and along the bottom here. I'm going to hold it in place with a piece of washi tape. One there and one there. And then I'm going to mark it at 2 1/2, 5 inches and 7 1/2. And the reason being is because I'm also going to bring in a piece of scratch paper. Now this is photocopier paper, but you could use post-it notes, something like that. And it's just going to help me do the masking and elongate the body of the dog. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring our dog in. I have got the early espresso. And I'm going to ink that up. I'm just doing that off screen. I do apologise. Like so. I'm going to see if I can find my other piece of... No, I can't. So we're just going to have to go for it. So what I'm doing is I'm lining this piece of paper. So that's roughly where I need the body of the dog to be, or the front of the dog to be. I'm going to move it back a bit so it's at the mark here. So on this piece of paper it's 7 1/4, but it's just about 2 1/2 inches a section here. So bring over my dog and I'm just going to pop him into place, straight down, hold him for a couple of seconds and straight up. So you can see there he is. Now I'm going to turn it over. So this is now going to line up here on the 2 1/4 mark. And then I'm going to bring in the ladder. Tap up the ladder. Like so. And I just need to make sure I know where it is. Yeah. So it's literally, I need it to line up with these 2 marks here. Okay. So I'm going to bring the ladder over. And I'm going to line it up. Straight down. Paper moved. There we go. So it's a straight line, and now I'm going to do it the other way around. So I'm going to bring in the dog, put that across there. So this is going to come along here. So this is the 2 3/4 mark, and what I'm going to do is I need to ink up the dog again. with my early espresso. There we are. And then this time I'm going to make sure that his body is lined up and straight down. There we are. I have one other thing to add, which is some, what they call these, they're the bells. I'm just going to pop these up in the corner here. There we go. Okay. Right. Now, the thing to do next is to do the colouring in. And what I've done, as usual, let's unstick that. I have already coloured in my dog. I have used, now this one is the Petal in Pink, so that's for his face. I have used the Calypso Coral for his ear, and I'm actually going to colour in his bottom as well, so that's his tail. I can move that. I'll just put my glasses away, bear with me when I put my glasses on. There we go. Right, so we can definitely see where I'm going now. I've tried is it the varifocals, where one section is for short sight and one section is for long sighted, and it just doesn't work for me. So I have to have 2 pairs of glasses, which can cause difficulty sometimes when you're trying to work. And some days when you see me, I will have 2 pairs of glasses on my head because I will have forgotten I've put the other pair up there already. Anybody else like me? Madness? You can just hear Arbella she's sitting outside the door, shaking herself. Right, so that is the dark Calypso Coral for his bottom. And so I've now got the Timid Tiger to colour in this section. There we go. All the way along. And then I have Shy Shamrock. And these are, so this is, yes, they are all the dark. Perfect. And what I want to do is I'm going to use the Calypso Coral and the Petal Pink to colour in my lights. So I'm going to do that one there, that one there, that one, and colour that one in there, and that one in there. And then I'm going to bring in my Petal Pink. There we are. Right, okay, so let's clear all this away and we can start assembling the card. So get rid of our scratch paper, bring in our Secret C. What I need to do now is I need to score this. So I've got my scoreboard. So that's going to go there. And I'm going to score it at 2 3/4, 5 1/2. And that's it. There we go. Before I stick anything down, I'm going to burnish it. So let's do that over. Burnish. And then that piece is going to come back on itself and burnish. There we have. Right, so there's our piece. So let's bring in our designer series paper first of all. So this is going to pop onto here. So it's so beautiful on the other side, isn't it? It's such a shame, but I really liked the effect on here. So I have got more of this paper, so I will probably use that piece of paper on another project. Okay, so that will go down there like so. Okay, and I've got the next piece which will go on this section here. So that's that one. So that goes into there. So that's 2 1/2. Yeah. And then this is a 2 1/2 piece as well. I will put the measurements on my blog, so you don't need to keep stopping and starting the video. There we go. So that's that there. Perfect. Now what we need to do is we need to cut our dog. So the first thing we need to do is cut a 2 1/4 inches off of his bottom. And there's 2 1/4. Yep. That goes into there. Then we need to cut another 2 1/4. Goes there. And that leaves us for the rest. Perfect. And now the doggy can fit on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop that is going to go there onto there. Okay, so I'll stick that down with a bit of glue. Come on, you know you're working. We've just seen you working. That sticks onto there, like so. And then I'm going to stick the doggy down here, because what I want to do is when the card is closed, I want to make sure he matches up. So that is perfect. Yep, happy with that. So let's open that up and we can add that bit. And then we're going to do... Now the colours I have used for this particular sausage dog all are the colours that you will find in the designer series paper. Let's make sure that's right. Yep, that's right. Okay, that's our doggy. So with this bit closed, it gives you area here for your, dear so-and-so, lots of love from me. And then the middle piece can go into place like so. And there we have our quick and easy funky fold card. So thank you ever so much for joining me today. I hope you liked these cards. They're great fun to create, quite quick, and it's a good surprise for somebody when they open it to see how long our sausage dog can possibly be. So thank you ever so much for joining me this week. I will be back next week with a new stamp set, so do join me then. And whatever you do, have a lovely weekend, and I hope to catch up with you very soon. Bye.